Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Wednesday, guys. So let's jump right on in. Let's talk about 17 signs that God is calling you away from somebody. 17 signs that God wants you to leave somebody. Now, let's be clear here. This can be in different ways. This can be your own family, right? This can be a relationship. This can be a friendship. This can be your job, get in where you fit in. So 17 signs. Again, you guys know how I go with counting. So I'm going to just try to just say next. All right. The first one. First and foremost, there is a gut feeling in your spirit. There's lack of peace. It feels very, very unsettled. You just can't, it does not feel safe. It doesn't feel, your spirit is so disturbed. It's almost like your spirit can't settle down. That's going to be, you can turn everything else off, but you can't turn that off. So there's a gut feeling, a lack of peace in your spirit. God will not let it settle because God knows it's not supposed to be. God knows that this person is not what you think. So he's not going to allow your spirit to be at peace about it. Next one. The relationship goes against the word of God. This more so less look like if it's somebody who's married, that type of thing, whatever. So it goes against the word of God. The next thing, there's constant conflict, and it most likely didn't start that way because of course with these kind of relationships or whatever, they start very exciting or whatever. Especially if you encountered this during a time where you were coming out of a difficult season or you were in a difficult season. So basically the person just soothed that hardship, right? Whatever that emotional place, right? Whatever you were going through, they soothed that. So everything was all, fairy tales, things like that. Where now you're seeing a lot of conflict. And granted, we're all adults here, so you're going to have conflict. You can't get around conflict, but it's constant. We're not speaking about conflict in the sense of a misunderstanding where you have a meeting of the minds, work things out. That's just life. I'm speaking about conflict where it's just it's constant strife. It's just constant strife over and over, over and over, over and over. Like you can't even, it's just too much. It's just too much. Next thing, you start to see the red flags that you initially missed. So things that, in fact, you may have seen the red flags, but you kind of like ignored it because, but now you're seeing the red flags more than ever. And you're now saying, how did I miss that? You missed it because you wanted to miss it. You wanted to miss it. You saw it. You just kind of ignored it. But now those red flags are popping you upside the head, honey. Next thing. If it pulls you away from God, meaning, I can give 1,000 examples here, but maybe you or somebody who you were used to reading your word every morning. You were used to journaling every morning. You had some type of, but now it's like you're checking your phone the first thing before you even tap in, right? Like, or maybe you were going to church a certain amount of times during the week and now you don't go because right? So, but it pulls you away from God. They can be very, very demanding of your time, if you will. So it pulls you away from God in different ways. That can be 1,000 different ways, but ultimately it pulls you away from God. Next thing. There is no, listen, this is going to also be a very, very telltale sign. There's no control around this person, right? It almost feels like you're being led by a different spirit. You have no discipline. It's almost like the things that you're typically disciplined in, that discipline falls to the wayside because it's almost like there's something driving it, right? So there's no control. It's like, guys, I forgot to turn I forgot to turn my phone off, guys. I'm sorry. I always do. I'm sorry. Please work with your girl. Give me some grace here. So yeah, so you almost feel uncontrollable. Things that you will never ever let slide. Things that you will never ever do, right? For others or in past relationships or whatever, you you let slide right there. Next thing, it's not reciprocal. It's not reciprocal. Um, Reciprocal meaning reciprocity. Reciprocity meaning I got your back, you got my back. Like it's an exchange, right? Maybe different things, but it's some kind of exchange. They're receiving and reaping all of the benefits. You're receiving absolutely nothing. So if you take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle, on each side, you write for them, how are they benefiting from you? Like, for example, that may look like you respect them. You have their back to the end, even when they're in down seasons, right? If they're not comfortable with something, you make the changes. You're there for them. Your list is top notch. And then when you look at their list, great sex. Seriously. So it's not reciprocal. Their lists need to look like not identical to yours. I mean, that would be great, but it is what it is, but right. Not identical per se to yours, but their list need to have some other stuff on there. Great sex, if that's what you want to, but in addition, respect. In addition, make sure that I feel safe and comfortable, meaning make the changes on the areas that you're, right? Have my back as well. You may cannot have my back in this way, but you got my back in that way, right? It needs to be reciprocal. They're receiving all the benefits and you're not getting anything except your next one, Kizzy. It has become toxic and overbearing. It has become toxic and overbearing, which is typically going to be the difference, complete difference than what it was at the beginning. At the beginning, it was so not toxic. It was just everything you wanted. Everything was so like aligned and X, Y, and Z. But now it has become toxic. And that's why you left the last relationship, because it became toxic. So why are you back into something toxic this early, right? Are very overbearing. Overbearing just means that it consumes your day, almost like how a soul tie would. And that could be that, right? But it consumes your day. So like you're trying to work or you're trying to do this, do that, and the third, but all these thoughts are consuming your mind because it has become toxic and it's manipulative, things like that. Next thing, you're treated poorly. You're just treated poorly. The things that you give them or do for them to be sure that they're treated with respect is the complete opposite for you. So your complaints don't get answered. And let's be clear here, ladies. Guys, I promise y'all, I'm going to like make a sticky note the next time I make a recording. Well, let me not say I promise. I'm going to try my hardest. I lost my train of thought. But you're treated poorly. Oh, ladies, let's be clear here, because there's just this unspoken thing that we just assume men should read our minds, honestly. Like seriously, we'll be mad with a dude and he really, really don't know why we're mad, but we really feel like he should know why we're mad. Because it's common sense, dude. Why am I mad at 5:00 after you said something at 4:49? Like, make it make sense. It's common sense, right? But that's not how men think. So you have to literally tell them what you need. Listen, I need X, Y, and Z in order to feel safe. I need X, Y, and Z to feel like I can trust you because there's something in my spirit that's just not settled. So if you want to help me here, then X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I'm not comfortable with X, Y, and Z. Make the changes. All your girls out. Point blank period. Let me just hurry up. Okay, here we go. So you're treated poorly. That could be they're speaking to you a certain kind of way. That can be they're telling you they're going to show up and don't show up. Like, listen, that right there, that's an immediate cutoff. You're supposed to be here and you don't show up at all. Like there's even no conversation once I find out that you're safe, right? You want to be sure they're safe, but they're treating you poorly. They're speaking to other women in your face, like they're treating you poorly. It's the complete opposite of what you would do for them. Next one, they're very secretive. Let's be clear, because I'm a very, very, very private person. As everybody knows, even in my own personal life. But there's a difference between secretive and being private. I think being private is top notch. Like seriously, you have to be very, very careful because a lot of the attacks come from things that you're speaking on, allowing certain energy, certain people. Not as a chosen one. You got to be very, very private because your attacks are going to be next level attacks. But there's a difference again between being private and being secretive. Secretive, they're hiding things, right? You can be an open book on your end. You can be an open book on your end, but they're hiding things. And your spirit already tells you that, right? In fact, you already brought it to their attention and they still won't give you or show you or prove to you what you need, right? So they're being secretive about things. But here's the thing, especially my ladies, we overtalk. So you're showing your entire hand. We show our entire hand so we can make sure you feel safe. So you can make sure because make sure you don't have no jealous streak over here. That type of stuff. Like we're showing our whole hand. And a man will, not all men, right? Just ride with me here. Like a man will sit there and take all that stuff in, listen to everything you reveal, and give you absolutely nothing. We overplay our hands. We really do. It just next one. Where am I? Oh my goodness, I dropped my pen and give it to me, please. Different beliefs. This can look like, maybe you're a Christian or you could be a Muslim or, respectfully, whatever and this person is an atheist, right? There's just different beliefs. And some people feel different about that. Some people feel like, listen, God, like some people want it more specific. No, it has to be Jesus. Some people feel like long as you don't like interrupt what I got going. So it is what it is. But you guys have different beliefs and it's clashing and it's just not aligning with your particular belief. Next thing, you feel drained and depleted. Where before it was the complete opposite. You felt fulfilled, right? They filled you up. Where you feel drained and depleted. And it's that feeling that no matter how much you do, it's never enough. No matter how much you do, it's never enough. So you start to feel drained and depleted. Next thing, constant warning from others. Listen. Right? Your people's, and granted, now this is just not from anybody because some people are just going to speak on things because they're speaking out of jealousy or they could be speaking from their own situations and God had them to move a certain kind of way, then they think that that's what God wants you to do. So I'm not just speaking about anybody, but I'm speaking about people who truly, like, these are your trusted folks, right? They're nudging you and then they're giving you warnings, they're giving you convictions. God might use them to say something like, well, that's a married woman. I mean, I get what you're saying there. They've been separated for 2 months, but right. So he'll start using other people to warn you and convict you. And again, somebody may have looked at you in the beginning and was like, that ain't it. And you just like, child, I'm not trying to hear that, honey. Right. But now it's like, you get exactly what they were saying. Next thing. Well, a lack of appreciation. I think I can kind of go with what I said a few minutes ago with being burnt out. But basically, there's a lack of appreciation and gratitude. You're top notch, right? You're top notch. Chosen ones, you guys already know what it is. Like, oh, when we give it, we give it. Like we're 10. Like we're 10. We're gonna feed you. We're like We we are the truth when it comes down to taking care of our peoples, whoever we're dealing with. Like seriously, like there won't be any wants. Um, there won't be no needs or wants, right? So, but it's a lack of appreciation, and at some point you're going to be like, you know what, it is what it is. If you don't appreciate it, I'm out. That type of thing. Last thing, disregarding boundaries. So whatever your boundaries are, like, please don't text my phone 35,000 times per day. Right? So whatever boundaries you have put in place because it has now become what it is, or whatever, they just don't respect your boundaries. That can look like you're maybe you said that you don't want to have sex before marriage. That may be your boundary, and then they may have agreed to it from the jump, but now they're like pushing up on you and like, listen, either you know, like what you gonna do, right? That type of thing. So whatever it may be, they're disrespecting and have disregard for whatever boundaries that you have put in place. Like, listen, if you say you're going to be here for dinner at 6, right? Nobody's perfect. Like, we are, like, 6:30, okay, cool, but just let your girl know, or at least apologize. Things happen, right? But you get here at 10. First of all, where they do that at? Like, right? Okay. But so you sat down, you had a meeting of the minds, you let them know this is, like, I feel disrespected in that area, right? But then they keep doing the same thing. They keep repeating the same thing. Or you've made it clear that you don't want booty calls. Like, you're just not coming here at 1 o'clock in the morning every day because you've been wherever you've been. You've been at the studio, or you've been working, or you've been with your boy, wherever you claim you've been at, right? You're not about to be coming out, like, right? But you made that clear, but then that's the time they keep coming. It's because you keep allowing it. You keep allowing it, respectfully, right? Or not, well, I don't know. You keep allowing it. This is why, again, it's so crucial that you evolve. It's so crucial that you put the work in and go through a healing season, because I'm telling you, you will leave a dude, you will leave a woman on sight when you know what you carry. You won't keep going through the same things. Like, no judgment, right? Because I think most of us already been there at some point. At least one relationship we played the fool. But now who's the fool, right? Okay. Kizzy. So ultimately, however God does it, right? And then you have people who feel like God is, well, first of all, God is not a God of confusion. But I'm telling you, God will allow some things. Don't get it twisted. If God is ready for you to relocate or leave your crazy family behind, He will allow something to happen. He will allow some type of, this can look like, for example, this can look like you're the one who hold everything down, like literally, like you're like the peacemaker, you're the this, that, and the third, and something can happen where a whole strife happened at the family reunion, and then they all turn on you, and you're like, but I didn't even have anything to do with this. I was over here trying to like make the peace with Uncle Steve, and y'all thought I was what? And now the ones who never did like you, see, yeah, you always think you know everything. You think you was cute since you was a child. I didn't actually do, like, everybody flips on you, and now you're hearing all these things that you had no idea of how people felt about you. And honey, your little feelings is hurt. Your little heart is broke because you had all their backs. Don't think God won't allow some things to happen to pull you out of a situation, right? Or He may even allow them to leave you, because you can't leave them, right? He's convicting you and He's letting you know, hey, you're in a different season. Hey, I want to take you higher. It's time to such and such. I want to give you certain blessings, right? Right? But they can't go. So I've given you signs. I've allowed them to cheat on you 37 times, right? I've allowed them to this, that, and the third. I allowed you to find the evidence in your face. You saw the text. Somebody about to get hit right here. You saw the text message. You saw it. It's not a rumor. You read it. You saw it. But then I manipulate the whole conversation and make you feel guilty because you went through the phone. Sir, you're right. I should not. Well, that's not me because I'm not going through anybody's phone, right? Just once you get to a certain level, honey, God gonna reveal it to you. You ain't got to go looking through no phones. I promise you, God will let that thing hit your spirit. You'll be sleeping, and it'll wake you up. You will feel it at the very time that it's going on. Trust me when I tell you, you don't have to go looking. God will reveal it to you. So he's not manipulating the whole conversation. Now you're feeling guilty because you went through the phone. Sir, you're right. I was wrong. I should not have gone through your phone. Right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to take responsibility and accountability. You're right. However, see, once you take that accountability and that responsibility, once you own your, this is why it's important to own your stuff. Never get to the point where you feel like something is not your fault or you would, like, no. None of us are perfect. None of us, you ain't that cute, boo. We ain't that cute. Like, own your stuff. When you own your stuff, a person can't use it against you. So now there's no deflection. You can't deflect because I've owned my part. Now let's get back to this chick in your phone. Y'all, I gotta go. I'm just having some fun. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Your girl's on some Starbucks right now. But you guys have a great one. You guys comment. Let me know what you think. It's your girl. Oh, I want to say thank you, you guys, because you guys know I've been like on your necks some months ago about the likes or whatever, and I see how the likes have just went up from like 3 and 4 to. So I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you so much to all my supporters. I know who you are. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.